Hi, I'm Mike Miller. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks so much for watching The Other Side. My guest today is a very talented, passionate lady who is a composer, singer-songwriter, and entertainer. And I'm honored to have Aurora Wynne here today. Thank you for coming.
Hi, Steve. Good to be here.
Good to have you here. And you've been pretty busy the last few years.
That's true. Lots of traveling around, lots of writing. Not a lot of recording, but lots of playing shows and lots of changes and things that really help grow me as a person, as a musician. So I've loved every bit of it. Well,
you put a band together and put an album out.
That's true. That was here in Denton.
Yeah.
And that was back in 2015, so that's almost 3 years ago.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. We did the album release at Harvest House.
Yeah.
Zeb Ernest from his home studio called Captiveer did the recording, and lots of amazing local musicians were on that album. Tim Knighton, Neely Rose, Jesse Thompson from Levi Cobb and the Big Smoke played upright bass for us.
Oh, really?
It was a really, really good project, and I've been working on a new project in the last couple of years that's really ready to record now. So Airborne is kind of the first incarnation in a series I want to do based on the 4 elements. So we wrote Airborne here, and then I moved to California 2 years ago, and now I'm finished writing The Fire Forge, which is a new album, and ready to record it. Just don't have actually the band together anymore because I don't live here anymore, and I didn't end up forming a full new band in Cali while I was there. I had one for a little while, but then started traveling by myself, and so I'm really looking forward to finding a place to reform that band and to find that musical community again, and to put that new project together, because I'm ready. I'm like chomping at the bit about it a little bit.
It's hard to find the right people to bring in to play your music, that you have a concept in mind, you know. And
for sure, and really the truth is that, like, while I've put a lot of the work and a lot of the vision into it, I value other musicians' input a lot.
Cool,
so finding people who not only enjoy the vision of the project and like find that inspiring, but take that inspiration and make it something else.
Enhance it somewhat.
Enhance it, bring it to life in only the way that the musical communication that happens between other musicians happens. Because when I go play here, it's just me, and that's got one flavor. But there's a different flavor that comes from having all those minds working together and that conversation that happens. And I'm really looking forward to finding the people to have that chat with.
Yeah. So the Wit and Whimsy has how many songs on it?
The first album?
First album.
Yeah, the first album has only 8 tracks on it, but they're a little lengthy, so it's a full-length album as far as the time on it goes.
What is the name of the first album?
It's called Airborne. It's
Airborne,
actually
okay.
It's 2 words, not like the medication you take before you get on planes.
Yeah.
But more like you are born of air.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a really good album. It's very light. There's a couple of waltzes in there. I would have loved to have added a bunch of harmonies to it as well, but it has this very easy feeling to it. It's like an album you could listen to and go to sleep most of the time, except for maybe one song, except for Pluck.
Yeah.
Except for The Villainous Puck and Pluck. It's a really chill album. The Fire Forge, by comparison, it's spicier. It's got a lot more zest and spunk to it.
And you put out different kinds of videos, though, with songs that you're working on. I was looking at some of your videos this morning where you have a lot of voice layering.
Oh, so those are actually kind of a comedy thing.
Yeah.
That I do. I do write some very silly songs.
That's good.
And those recordings are probably the one that you saw was one that's about like hot summer days like this one, and getting sweat in your ass crack is what that song's about. And so
did you film that yourself?
I did, yeah.
Really? It was really creative, I thought, because you have several different screens going.
Well, that's
3. Yeah, the 3 screen.
Yeah, that's right. There's actually an app for that. It's called Acapella, and it lets you like add chunks of screen and re-record.
I could never figure out how to do all that, but that's good.
I use it to work on harmonies, so that if I want to write harmonies for someone else in the band to sing, I can go and record myself twice and then show it to somebody and be like, okay, you're singing the left screen, you know?
Yeah.
Which is really useful.
And this NPR Tiny Desk.
Yeah, we entered the Tiny Desk contest this past year.
I like that video.
Thanks.
That's really nice.
We recorded that in Vallejo in California, where I came from, and the group that I'm playing with there is the closest thing to a full band that I had in California.
Who are those percussionists?
So on the congas was Rick McKinney.
Really?
And he's a wonderful conga player / high school science teacher.
Oh, really?
And so he could only play with us every so often. You know, he's got a different passion also for teaching kids science. And the fella on the bass was named David L.
Oh, uh-huh.
And he's a jazz musician from Vallejo who actually bass is not his primary instrument, kind of like Jesse Thompson, who his primary instrument's really more banjo. But they're both fabulous musicians and fabulous bass players. So he came and played on an acoustic bass for that set. And then Micah Perkins has been my musical partner and creative partner for the last few years, and he was the one on the resonator.
Resonator.
Mm-hmm. Normally he plays electric guitar, but we really wanted to go for an acoustic sound for the Tiny Desk contest. So.
Y'all have done a few projects together. I saw him in some of your
Micah
other videos.
Perkins has been playing with me for a really, really long time.
That's good.
Just about one of my favorite people on the whole planet, and a wonderful musician and friend. He's the only person from Denton who moved with me to California to continue the project out there.
Really?
And it really transformed the band from kind of a full band thing to more like a David Rawlings, Gillian Welsh kind of duo, where his voice was his guitar, and because there was all this space and just the two of us, he could really be a lot freer in his playing than we could if we're like in a band and you've got to like blend and work with everybody else.
Yeah.
And so it did change the music when we moved to California and it became just the two of us, but not in a bad way.
Y'all
really
are evolving, yeah.
Yeah, it was a different evolution and a different flavor, and I really loved it because Gillian Welsh and David Rawlings are like my musical heroes.
Really,
yeah. And so to kind of do something that was in that flavor, I just loved it. I loved it a lot.
So how long did you live in California?
2 years.
2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't go to high school out there?
No.
Oh.
I went to high school in Midland, Odessa, Texas, which is my original hometown before I even moved to Denton.
Yeah, so you're a Texas person.
Yeah, I'm a Texan.
Yeah.
I'm a Texas girl.
How did you end up in California, though?
My brother has a company
uh-huh.
out there, and he was in a place where he was like, I really need people I can trust, and I'd love for you to come out here and work for me. And I was working at the School of Rock in Flower Mound as the general manager, and I was like, man, I don't know. I teach kids rock and roll for a living. That's pretty hard to give up. And then it just happened where he asked me again at the right time.
Yeah.
And I decided to up and move, and we literally packed up our place in Denton and we're gone in like 3 weeks. We just headed out there and went to go take on that project and be helpful, and we learned some new things and we got to see some beautiful parts of the country. We're up in the redwoods up there.
The place in Oakland where you played?
The Stork Club.
Stork Club,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's a
pretty
really
good.
Yeah, it's a really cool, famous venue.
Yeah.
They've got Barbies everywhere.
Really?
There's like Barbies on the walls, and it's a really interesting place. We had a good show there. That was one of my favorite shows because we were staying in Vallejo, which is a full like 40-minute drive from there, and all of our friends from Vallejo came down for that show. We just had
That's good.
We just had
That's
a room
great.
full of love for that performance, and
That's excellent.
it was really, really cool. That's also one of the only times in California we got to play with someone on a full kit. His name was Mike Huff.
Really?
And he only played with us that one time. But man, I miss having a full band sound.
Yeah.
It scratched that itch, you know? It was really, really good.
I think a drum set adds so much to any ensemble.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, any percussive element, like having Rick on the congas, totally changed and gave us a wonderful direction.
Such a good feel.
Which is very different than, again, just me and Micah on guitar. That was the only thing I ever felt about us as Just to Do, is that the rhythm was actually fully on me as a rhythm guitarist. And I prefer to have a bass and drum to follow and communicate with.
And then you play slightly different when you have the bass and drums.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. So you've been to one of those Burning Man festivals?
Yeah, I went to Burning Man while I was in California.
What's that like?
Oh, it's a playground, man.
Really?
It's a big grown-up playground where there are very, very few rules, and just like you just never know what's going to hit you around the next corner.
Really?
As far as like somebody's out in the desert doing their performance art, or someone might just come and hand you a lightsaber and start having a lightsaber battle with you. And of course, like the music, and there's amazing structures and art to climb on, because I love to climb on everything.
Really? Yeah, like rock climbing and stuff.
I got to play a set at Burning Man.
Did you?
Naked. There's no clothes required at Burning Man, and I'd always wanted to play a set that way.
Well,
and
yeah.
so I did a sunrise set.
Really?
Where the sun was coming up, and I was playing naked out in front of the desert, and
everybody else was naked?
No, I mean, people were in various states of
yeah.
dress, but I chose to be naked because I'd always wanted to do a set that way, and it was cold.
Really?
It was really cold.
Oh, God.
It gets really, really hot during the day at Burning Man, and really, really cold at night. And so I guess I had thought that because it'd be a sunrise set, it would like somewhere be in between the two be warm, but it was not. It was still very, very cold. Worth it.
That's
very
good.
worth it.
I'd be too old to go to one of those, I guess. I don't know. Older people come?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And they're the best people there. One of my favorite people is this guy who walks around with a bullhorn and just says, "The non-creatives are among us. We must weed them out." And he wanders around in a loincloth, and he's got to be like 80.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was ancient. There's all ages. There are kids out there. There are people who bring their kids to Burning Man.
There's always people like that. That's so weird.
And it strikes you as odd, because of everything that's happening out there. The kids are getting exposed to all kinds of things, and for like good and bad, and their parents are really usually pretty good about explaining those things and talking that into them. They're like, yeah, these things happen in the world, and yeah, that's a naked person. It's nothing to freak out about. So I think people have strong opinions about those things, but personally, I bet those kids come out pretty well rounded.
They probably do.
They probably do.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, I appreciate you coming down to be here today and talk about your music and life. And
thank you for having me.
Which songs are you doing today?
I'm probably going to do 2 from the old album and 2 from the new album.
Yeah.
I'll do The Great Divide, which is a song we did for the NPR Tiny Desk.
Okay.
And I'll do Pluck, which is the kind of sassier one from that album. And then from the new album, I'll do Spark, which is the song we did at the Stork Club in Oakland.
Oakland, yeah.
And then I'll also do one called The Master and the Student, which I wrote here in Denton, but has never been officially recorded yet.
Really? Yeah.
And it's one of my favorites, so I'll do that one too.
Well, that's great, and I appreciate that so much, and I wish you very good luck with all your endeavors.
And thanks for having me.
You're welcome, and y'all stay tuned to check her out playing some music, and thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it, and have a great day.
Bye. My name is Aurora Wynne. I'm from a band called The Wit and the Whimsy. We're a local band from Denton. I don't live here anymore. Just kind of traveling across the country, and I'm here to do some music for you. So this one's called The Great Divide.
you see the fort or rest for the trees. Just stay with me, heads and hands and hips we move. I just wanna dance, dance with you, Put another log on that fire, doll. I'm so tired of this cold ass room. The great divide has another side we've gotta get to. There is a part of my heart that lacks caution. There is a part of my tongue that lacks tact. The great divide has another side. I'll get my sense back. Ooh, oh, and life moves so fluidly. We let pass by us our opportunities. I can't slow down. I don't know how steady me. I just need an anchor on this raging sea. It's you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me. This next one is called Pluck. It's from the album that we recorded here in Denton, over with our friend Zeb Ernest about, I guess 3 years ago now. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites from it. I'm a classically unprepared musician because I didn't have a guitar pick, so I just cut my Safeway card into a guitar pick. But this is called Pluck. come on in, wake the neighbors, there's gonna be a firefight. We can't trust the others, cause well, they're just not like us. Time for the war of the ages, gather your saints and sages. We're gonna show them what rages with our righteousness in course. Is this how we raise the boys? Trained in someone else's voice. And I'd rather see them stay, and I'd rather their hearts beat. Keep the drama on the stage and the fighting in the sheets. And I don't care if he plays, but I've gotta hear him sing, yeah. Love, it's a confusion in the battle. It's a thief that don't sleep. Wait, oh you wait inside that chamber, dreaming of treasure. You know you'll never be. So come on in, pluck my heartstrings and play chords so lovely and be yours if you want it, but you better bring your guns. Time for the soul, darling, get control, oh darling. We can be nice and charming, but I'm nothing like you've seen. Is this how we make a choice between lovers and remorse? And I'd rather see him stay, and I'd rather he not cheat, and keep the drama on the stage and the fighting in the sheets. And I don't care if he plays, just as long as it's with me, yeah. And I'd rather they be brave, and I'd rather that they think I can talk at you for days and not ever say a thing. And I'll never see that change if I never hear you speak. Whew. That's a spicy one. I really, really like that track a lot. Maybe something a little newer. So that first album's available everywhere. It's called Airborne. Band's called the Wit and the Whimsy, in case I didn't mention that. The song's called Spark, and it's from the new album I'm working on. It's not out yet, but I love you, and it will be here soon. But this is called Spark. It's so quiet tonight. I am in spite of the lights. I am contrite. What if I fail you? What if I fall into your arms? What if it's more than my poor heart can take? I've seen soft pie nothing's as it seems. The spark that I'm feeling, it's a hole in the ceiling. My eyes are open, I'm gonna notice. I'm gonna notice. I'm gonna Yeah, I really like that one. It's a good song about paying attention to the things around you. Here's another new one that's in a way similar. Similarly, it's a newer song. It's not something that is out yet, except for in this recording. It's called The Master and the Student, and it was written here in Denton. It's about the people in our lives and the things that they teach us. So this is The Master and the Student. Got your own feet, though they're tender, soft, and so pink. Good thing for your cleverness, or I'd be fearful of the ragged road you're walking on. Inside your hands and a lightness in your wrist. If I love what makes us similar, am I a narcissist? 'Cause I like to watch the spotlight fall on you. I like to watch the way the stage turns you on for no one at all. And find me. I'm ready, shaking, far too eager to grow. Oh, and I can feel it in my bones. that we've done the best that we could, and truth is the only great leveler, and power the only great lie, and those who are dearest and nearest to you will never wear a disguise. You would never wear a disguise. You must never wear a disguise. You never wear a disguise.
And they tell me, follow your dreams. And they say, do what you want, and money will come.